Well, it's Monday once again, and like always, we received a lot of calls over the weekend from people with questions in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. One of the questions that we received was regarding a domestic issue which may escalate on both the civil side and the criminal side. On the civil side, what I'm referring to is a protection from an abuse order. On the criminal side, we're looking at possible charges of aggravated assault, simple assault, terroristic threats, things of that nature. So with regards to domestic issues and protections from abuse, otherwise known as PFAs in Pennsylvania, or TROs and FROs in New Jersey, what you have to understand is, first of all, the civil standard is a lot lower than the criminal standard. In a criminal courtroom, the burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. In the civil world, it is preponderance. So if you're seeking a PFA, just understand that the burden is on the moving party, and that burden is preponderance, a much lower standard. Also, the big difference is obviously on the criminal side, the state, or in the case of Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth is the one prosecuting it, and that's a different type of process, and they're the ones driving it. You may initiate it through a criminal complaint, a private criminal complaint, but the district attorney's office or the prosecutor's office in New Jersey will be the ones who are going forward with it. So it's always the Commonwealth or the state versus the individual. One of the things you have to understand with regard to any of these proceedings is that you cannot contract out of them. And the question that we received this weekend was from an individual who was very, very nervous, received a phone call from the other side, who was actually represented by counsel. And the email kind of implied that if our soon-to-be client would agree to certain terms, the other side would not move forward with a criminal prosecution or not agree to move forward with a PFA proceeding. And you have to understand that that can never be contracted to. The fact that two parties meet and even agree, and even if money changes hands, that doesn't bar a person from moving forward with a PFA or seeking help through the criminal justice system through a private criminal complaint. In fact, in some ways, I think the other side is really getting into an issue of a real ethical issue from a legal standpoint, because I believe that what you've effectively done is you're basically paying a person not to come to court or forget the whole thing. And the system doesn't work that way. The PFA system in Pennsylvania and the TRO and the FRO system in New Jersey, that's put in place because there have been situations where usually women are in fear of their life, and that proceedings allow them to seek protection. You can't use it as like a system whereby you can get certain monetary compensation or certain property. You can't use those proceedings for that. On the criminal side, if a person files a criminal complaint and then the person who filed the complaint agrees to basically drop the whole thing, well, first of all, that can't happen because it's the Commonwealth or the state versus the person. Second, if they initiate that complaint, they can go back to the DA's office and recant, and more than likely the DA's office will withdraw it. But understand that if they receive a subpoena to come to court, they being the victim, and then this exchange of money tells them not to come to court or signifies, well, I will not come to court in exchange for this money, in effect, that can be viewed as witness intimidation or some type of bribery. And obviously that's illegal. It's unethical from an attorney standpoint. You could never, ever advise a witness, even on the other side, not to come to court. That's a tremendous, tremendous ethical issue. So please, if you're receiving advice from an attorney, please make sure the attorney understands both of those processes. The attorney's been through both the protection from abuse process and the criminal process. It's something that I just can't stress enough. If you have questions, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania. In New Jersey, 856-793-7429. The website, gambonelaw.com, a tremendous resource for you and your family. I will link in some articles that I've written on the PFA process in Pennsylvania, the TRO, FRO process in New Jersey, and typical allegations we see on the criminal side regarding domestic issues. So if you have questions, again, 215-755-9000. In New Jersey, 856-793-7429. We answer the calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I hope you're having a great Monday, and I will talk to you all soon. Have a great day.